Good afternoon. I'm going to call this Wednesday Wrench Day, since that's what I'm basically showing today. Picked up these two unusual items on eBay for a total of $15. Didn't know a lot about them. They looked very interesting, so I'll tell you what I found so far. The smaller one is only identified by Made in Germany. It's a pipe wrench with an adjustable head on it so it'll fit different size pipes. I went ahead and did a short, easy restoration. Here it is all restored, sort of kept with the original pattern of the wrench and coloring, the little no-name wrench. What's interesting about this wrench is it has an adjustable head. It says it's 8 inches long. The socket is a 12 millimeter socket. So I guess it's a real combination wrench. Any size in the business end, 8 inches long, metric 12 millimeter, so it's sort of a do-all wrench. The other item I picked up was this great wrench called a Rhino wrench. This was made in Denver, Colorado. I managed to get a little history on this wrench to help us out. Joel McCoyne, one of our YouTubers who patronizes all of our YouTube channels and gives me some interesting comments and feedback, told me that he has one of these wrenches. His father purchased the wrench in 1961 from the original inventor of it. The original inventor got a patent in the 1940s, made a total of only 200 wrenches, did not have a good marketing program, had no way to really get it out to the world, so he was selling them out of the back of his truck. This wrench was passed along to Joel from his father. Joel is an auctioneer, and he has sold these wrenches before. He said he sold one that was a prototype for $350, so does have some value to it since it was such a limited run. And it's a really in the 1960s, the inventor sold his patent to Stanley, and they did market several sizes of this wrench unsuccessfully because it was not as good as this wrench by a long shot. It was just what they decided to do with the patent and the design. So I thought this is a great wrench to restore here. And here's the Rhino wrench all done. Cleaned nicely, works well. It says Rhino, Denver, and put the nice red, I call it Scoutmaster color on it. Really a great wrench. Nice to have in my collection. It's heavy duty. I'm sure it would be working today had it been in the toolbox. Looks like it was built to last. The next item was given to me by my son. He had it in his toolbox, serving no purpose, being a 14 and 17 millimeter. He doesn't have a lot of use for it. So he said, how about restoring this and keeping it? I don't really need it. So, of course, I took on the challenge. It's made by Renault. The only thing I can find online is that these wrenches were made in France and were made by the Renault, however you pronounce it, automobile company. And here's the wrench restored. I decided to use that nice dark metallic copper paint. Turned out well for this wrench. The only identifying mark on the back is the letter F. Nice little wrench. It'll be a nice wall hanger. This last item is a brand called Lawson Manufacturing Company in Buffalo, New York. And I've been unable to find any information about this wrench. I've looked and looked and looked. Can't find much on it. I've just got what I showed you here. But it's a nice little pipe wrench. I decided I'd put a restoration on it. And there it is done. Nice improvement over the shape I got it in. was not really a hard restoration. Cleaned it, wire brushed it, put some paint on it. If anybody knows anything about Lawson, please let me know. I like to have a little history on the wrenches that I deal with. A friend of mine asked me, how did you learn how to restore wrenches? Well, really on the internet and with a lot of hands-on and trial and error. Here's a good example on a different product or type of issue. I bought this Win bandsaw. Nice little item in the shop, and that's before I got into tool restoration, so I wanted to learn. I went online and found out it's a lot of work maintaining and keeping a bandsaw in good operating order. They get out of alignment. You have to have different blades. It is an art to it. But to really learn how, I went to some sites called Build the Bandsaw Box. And I decided if I build some boxes, I'll learn. So I started with the simple. This was a piece of 2x4, one piece, one drawer. Not much to it. Fairly simple, but believe you me, that might have been one of the hardest ones trying to get right. I destroyed a couple of pieces of 2x4 before I got it together. So I moved up in the world and put two pieces of 2x4 together. Built a bigger box. Put a little different finish on it. Of course, built it out of pine 2x4s. And I was moving up. Okay, on to the next project. A 3-drawer box. And this one a little bigger, a little taller. As you can see, all wood. I stacked pieces of plywood together and put a piece of poplar on the front for the front to give it a little different look. And lastly, I built the best box of the collection. I built this one by, again, stacking pieces of plywood, put a piece of oak on the front and the back, some nicer drawers, a nicer finish on a little stand. So, just like anything, you start small, you work your way up, you learn as you go, and but I sort of lost my initiative. I guess I need to get back to it. This has kind of inspired me. As you can see from the wall, I sort of got consumed with tools, and but just like with the bandsaw, I started with one little screwdriver and worked my way up.